When you walk through a forest, you probably look up at the trunks, the branches, the leaves catching the light. And it feels like that is where the forest is, above you, around you, standing tall. But the part that keeps much of the forest alive is not above your head. It is under your feet. Hidden in the soil, roots are spreading through the dark. And around many of those roots are fungi. Not the mushrooms you see after rain, but thin living threads, so small you would never notice them. So important that without them, many plants would struggle to survive. Together, roots and fungi can form underground networks that connect plants to water, minerals, carbon, and sometimes even to each other. Some people call this the Wood Wide Web. It sounds like a secret plant internet, but the truth is stranger than that, because this underground world is not a peaceful fairy tale. It is a living system of trade, tension, cooperation, and survival. Above ground, a forest can look simple. One tree here, another tree there, a young seedling waiting in the shade. Each one looks separate. Each one seems to be fighting its own quiet battle for light. But below the surface, the forest changes shape. Roots spread outward like searching hands. Fungal threads weave through the soil. Tiny spaces between grains of earth become pathways. Water moves, minerals move, carbon moves. Chemical signals may move too. The forest is not only vertical. It is not only trunks reaching upward. It is also horizontal, a hidden world of contact and exchange. A world where plants are not as alone as they appear. And the surprising part is, they are not doing this alone. To understand this underground world, you have to forget the mushroom for a moment. The mushroom is only the part you can see, like an apple on a tree. The real body of many fungi is usually hidden below the surface. It is a web of microscopic threads called mycelium. These threads can move through soil in ways roots cannot. They can slip into tiny spaces. They can explore areas beyond the reach of a plant's root system. And some fungi form close partnerships with plant roots. They are called mycorrhizal fungi. The word basically means fungus root. And this partnership is one of the oldest and most important deals in nature. The plant makes sugars through photosynthesis. It sends some of that carbon to the fungus. In return, the fungus helps the plant reach water, phosphorus, nitrogen, and other nutrients in the soil. It sounds generous, but it is not charity. It is a trade. And like any trade, both sides are trying to survive. Imagine the underground world as a marketplace, but not one with voices, signs, or prices. A living marketplace. The plant has sugar, the fungus has access. Access to narrow soil spaces, access to minerals, access to moisture, access to a network that can stretch farther than one root alone. So the plant offers carbon, the fungus offers nutrients, and beneath the forest floor, this exchange can happen quietly, constantly, and at a scale we almost never see. But it is not always simple. A fungus may connect with more than one plant. A plant may work with more than one fungus. Different fungi may offer different resources. Different plants may pay different amounts of carbon. And the relationship can change when the soil gets dry, when nutrients become rare, or when a plant is under stress. That is what makes this world so fascinating. It is not just connection, it is negotiation. A silent economy written in chemistry, growth, and need. So are trees really connected underground? Sometimes yes. Mycorrhizal fungi can link the roots of different plants through shared fungal networks. Scientists call these common mycorrhizal networks. In some studies, researchers have found evidence that resources or signals can move between plants through these systems. And that is where the idea of the Wood Wide Web comes from. But here is where we have to slow down, because the popular story can get a little too beautiful. You may have heard that forests are like peaceful communities, where old trees constantly feed young trees, where every plant is helping every other plant, where the forest behaves almost like one big caring mind. it is a powerful image. But nature is rarely that simple. Some claims about the Wood Wide Web are still debated. Scientists are still studying how common these networks are in natural forests, how much material really moves through them, and whether mature trees actively support their offspring in the way popular stories often suggest. So the real story is not a fantasy. It is something better, messier, more complicated, more alive. Under the soil, cooperation and competition can happen at the same time. A fungus may help a plant get nutrients, but the fungus also needs carbon. A plant may benefit from fungal access to the soil, but it has to pay for that access with sugars. And when several plants are connected to parts of the same fungal network, the questions become more interesting. Who gives more? Who receives more? Which partner is more valuable? What happens when one plant is stronger, older, or better positioned in the light? This is not a simple friendship. It is closer to a living negotiation. No words, no contracts, no conscious planning, just countless biological interactions happening in darkness, shaped by survival. And maybe that is why this underground world feels so mysterious. It behaves like a system, but not like a machine. This is why the phrase Wood Wide Web is useful, and also a little dangerous. It helps us imagine something we cannot see, a hidden network beneath the forest. But it can also make us imagine plants and fungi as if they were using computers. They are not. There are no typed messages, no central server, no Wi-Fi, no forest group chat. The real network is slower, messier, more fragile, and far more alive. It grows, it breaks, it reconnects. It changes with moisture, soil chemistry, plant health, fungal species, and environmental stress. It is not the internet. It is a living system. And living systems are harder to understand because they do not follow one simple rule. They respond, they shift, they adapt, and sometimes they surprise us. Fungi are easy to underestimate. We notice them when mushrooms appear after rain, on old logs, near tree roots, in damp corners of the forest. But most of the time, the important work is happening out of sight. Mycorrhizal fungi can influence how plants access nutrients. They can help shape which plants thrive in a place. They can affect soil structure. They are part of carbon cycling, and they help connect the green world above ground with the mineral world below. Without fungi, many plants would have a much harder time surviving. And without plants, many fungi would lose the carbon they depend on. So a forest is not built by trees alone. It is built by relationships, between roots and soil, between fungi and plants, between sunlight above and chemistry below. The forest is not just a place, it is a partnership. Once you understand this, a forest starts to look different. A tree is not just a tree, it is part of a wider system. Roots, fungi, bacteria, water, minerals, insects, fallen leaves, invisible exchanges. The soil is not just dirt, it is a living interface, a place where sunlight becomes sugar. Sugar feeds fungi. Fungi help unlock nutrients, and nutrients return to the plants reaching for the sky. What looks still is moving. What looks silent is exchanging. What looks separate may be connected in ways we are only beginning to understand. And that is the strange beauty of this hidden world. You can walk over it 1,000 times and never know it is there. So is the Wood Wide Web real? The honest answer is yes. But not always in the simple way the phrase makes it sound. Plants and fungi can form underground partnerships. Fungal networks can connect roots. Resources and signals may move through these systems in certain conditions. But the forest is not a perfect society. It is not a magical communication network, and it is not the internet with leaves. It is something more natural, a living system of trade, tension, cooperation, competition, and survival. And that makes it even more fascinating, because the hidden life beneath our feet is not just connected, it is complicated. So the next time you walk through a forest, look at the trees. Then think about what you cannot see: the threads touching roots, the nutrients moving through soil, the partnerships forming in darkness, the quiet network shaping the life above it. And in the next episode, we will look at another strategy from the plant world: flowers. Beautiful, colorful, often seen as symbols of peace. But biologically, flowers may be some of the greatest manipulators on Earth.